Oh boy, time now for another episode of Mr. Nailsin Sunday Comics, and continuing on with the Blue Beetle. So, midnight patrols as an electric freight roars down the rails. A huge monster rises silently out of the swamp, poisonous fumes hissing from his gaping jaws, and lifts the train off the rails with one gigantic club. Tonight's story, the monster of the swamp. Wow, that's quite a monster. Of course, those guys are pretty big compared to the train, too. Well, anyway, the police patrol car of Mike Madigan and Dan Garrett, cruising close to the swamp, stops, and the two officers leap from the car, guns ready in their hands. It's not going to do much, no. Well, anywho,
Mother of mercy, it's a monster from another age.
It seems to be obeying those weird men. Before Dan can stop him, Mike rushes into the marsh.
Another world or not, they're breaking the law. At 'em, Dan.
Bang. Still don't get why his suit's green and his is blue. Must have been something in the wash. Anyway, so Dan decides to disrobe. A blurred flash of motion is swiftly ripping off his uniform. Dan emerges as the Blue Beetle. Yep. Jeez. Mike Madigan desperately battles his slippery opponents. Before the fantastic swamp men can overcome Mike, the Blue Beetle flashes into them like a raging jaguar. You may look like ghosts. No, not really. Out of the mist, but your jaws feel awfully human. And their leader, good lord. Well, Nosferatu shows up again. Fools! Attack him in force. Gang up on him. Come and get it. Now we'll find out what this is all about. But just then, a gloating maniacal laugh rings out, and as at a signal, the weird figures sink into the thick swamp mud. Aye! Okay. I can't believe my senses. They've all vanished into the ground. They're sinking under the what? Okay. Dan again resumes his identity. What manner of thing is this? Am I awake or am I dreaming? I'd better join Mike up on the road or he'll think I was hurt.
Brr, we've been seeing things. Have we been seeing things?
I'm afraid not. Let's search around for clues. Well, no, you did see some things, so, Anyway, meanwhile, the strange shapes rise from the muddy floor of the swamp. See, it's all you had to do was wait. Hurry up. Empty that freight train. This won't do. We've got to get more money. Maybe if we... You blundering fool, I want money, do you hear me? Money, more money. What good is a freight load of useless junk?
I was thinking we could just, get jobs and...
If you fools don't know how to make money, I'll show you. Tomorrow we'll hijack the 625 mail train. Okay. Short while later, the dense grass at the edge of the road is pushed aside. Yeah, that's cover. And a macabre form peers through. Wow, check out the ass on that big one. Those policemen again. No telling how much they found out. I'll make sure they die before they can do any harm. Well, Mike and Dan examine a decrepit automobile when a shadowy figure runs out of the swamp.
That's my car. I'm sheriff of this town. That terrible monster swallows entire trains and kills the crews without leaving a trace. We're going to search for it tomorrow. Do you think you could come and, help us? Yeah. We'll ask the chief to let us come. That's fine. I'll meet you here tomorrow. Well, if the chief says no, we won't be back. So, I did say that.
So anyway, the next day at the police station, sure, you can help them out. Too many freight trains have been lost to that monster lately. I guess it's about time we did something about it.
I'll go with them. I may be able to get a good story for my paper.
All right, men. I'll be down myself on the G25 mail train to join you, later.
Racing through the streets, Dan and Mike and John arrive at the edge of town in record time.
Here they come. Proceed to the swamp.
What does this monster of yours look like?
It's pretty big. I only hope we can handle it.
Well, that's all she knows. It's really big. So anyway, sometime later, after a futile search. Well, where is this monster? Are you quite sure you saw one?
Suddenly, out of the heavy reeds rise the fantastic forms of the swamp men. Get the sheriff. Bang.
Guns and 20th century guns at the...
Oh, it's Dan. Dan. Guns and 20th century guns at that.
Taken completely by surprise, the others battle furiously as one of the creatures approaches It's a guy in a suit. Come on. He's just got dishwashing gloves on. Anyway, before the sheriff can raise his rifle, the swamp man viciously discharges a barrage of slugs into his body.
Bang, bang, bang.
Great Scott, he's killed the sheriff. If only I had, done something instead of just watch him do it. But, well, too late now.
The grotesque creatures grab the inert body and drag it into the marsh. Come back with that. I was going to have him stuffed and put him in a museum. Before Dan can interfere, he receives a vicious blow behind the ear. Bonk.
Dan, are you all right?
Quick, grab her.
Why?
I don't know, just do it.
Temporarily paralyzed, Dan is unable to rise as John is captured. Well, he was perfectly fine, and he did nothing for the sheriff, so he's kind of useless at this point. But anyway, while later clad in his chainmail uniform that is fine as silk, the blue... I think you meant to say it's fine as silk, but strong as steel. Yeah, you forgot to put that.
And the blue beetle, made super strong by vitamin 2X, plunges after the fleeing swamp men. May I join the party?
Blue beetle, help!
Hold on, Joan. Out of my way, warthog. Say, they're disappearing. Your puny powers are useless against the swamp master. The blue beetle slashes through the swamp men with incredible speed, but too late to grab the hand sinking into the quagmire. They've dragged Joan down with them. If only I could figure out how to, sink. Joan gone. I certainly have failed miserably. Oops, what's this? The blue beetle rips up a section of buried railroad track. Perhaps the buried rails lead to the swampman's hideout.
Ha ha! So that's who's behind all this.
Mike, spotting his prey, makes a heroic attack and stumbles on the buried rail. Oh, bong! Tweet, 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 tweet.
This time you won't escape. Ooh.
Good Lord, my blue costume paint rubbed off on his jacket. Sorry, old fellow, but you're only in the way.
Why you?
Why not me? This will keep you safe until I return. As the blue beetle races off, unearthly shapes rise out of the ground near my... Oh, jeez. He just leaves him there.
Hey, the swamp man! Hey, you can't do this to me! I'm the law!
Let's take him to the cave. We're gonna have fun with you, honey. Meanwhile, a mad chuckle rings hollowly through the tunnels of a deserted mine. The swamp master rules supreme. Soon the 625 mail train shall be engulfed by my deadly monster. Now, tell me who the blue beetle is so I can destroy him.
I can't. I don't know who he is. No one does.
Perhaps a little persuasion will loosen your tongue. But just as Joan's arms are almost torn from their sockets, jeez, Mike is brought in. How dare you interrupt me? Well, you didn't see anything, did you? I mean, it is the policeman. Good. You are very welcome, very much indeed. Ha ha! I'll take care of you just as soon as I finish with the girl. Speak up! Do you hear me? Who is the Blue Beetle?
I don't know.
How can you stand so much pain? I'll kill you.
An insane light in his eyes, the murderous madman screams wildly and slashes with the scimitar viciously at Joan when,
aye, the sign of the Blue Beetle.
Yep, that and a, steel shaft thingy. Anyway,
like a flashing thunderbolt, the Blue Beetle bursts upon the astonished swamp men. You didn't expect visitors, did you?
While his henchmen battled for their lives against the nemesis, the swamp master.
All right, get going.
Who, me?
I'll finish you off outside, and my swamp monster shall feast once again.
The Blue Beetle quickly snaps Joan's bonds.
That maniac is going to have his monster attack the 625 mail train.
Oh, she's saying it. Well, you get the idea.
Well, come on, let's get out of here.
The police chief is on the train, and it's almost due now.
Mike, they're going to kill Mike. And all because I tied him to that tree.
Well, at least you're acknowledging you screwed up there, At that very moment, a dull rumbling is heard, and out of the morass plumbers the monster.
Jaws gaping wide, the hideous beast awaits its prey. The Blue Beetle faces a drastic choice. I can either save Mike from being shot, or try to protect the chief from that deadly monster. Either way, one of his friends must die. Which course should he follow?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the boss pays him, so, and Mike, it's kind of useless.
Suddenly, whipping across the tracks, the Blue Beetle decides upon a desperate plan. He lashes into the swamp men like an uncoiled steel spring, while the monster prepares to engulf the thundering mail train.
Hey! The Blue Beetle races to the track. Come back here, you're under arrest.
That ungrateful fatty. One mighty leap, and he grips the high-voltage power line. I may be killed, yeah, pretty much, but I'll stop the train in time. 10,000 volts tear through his body as the power line is shorted by the Blue Beetle's chainmail suit.
So I guess that's the villain.
Ha ha! Now I'll have all the wealth I desire.
What if you sold the monster? Anyway, suddenly the power flicks off and the train screeches to a stop. What happened?
Aye! My monster can't reach the train. Shoot them down. I'll not lose that money. Bang.
His purpose achieved, the limp figure falls from the power line. But as he hits the ground, the Blue Beetle makes an extreme effort and rises.
It's only due to my vitamin 2X that I'm alive. Quick as thought, the Blue Beetle laces into the swamp men, fists smashing like sledgehammers. Just a second. You're not running away this time. I've figured out your game.
Hey!
Here you are, Mikey's all yours. Take a look at him. The Blue Beetle races away as the swamp master's headpiece falls off.
Why, it's the sheriff.
So Scooby-Doo ending, huh? And it would have worked, too, if it hadn't been for that meddling Blue Beetle.
The next instant, Dan comes up with the chief.
Hold him, Mike. I can explain all this.
You can? I mean, you weren't even here.
There's our monster, a camouflaged string of flat cars running along buried rails to the abandoned mine. The arms are really powerful cranes with which they lifted trains and ran them inside, where poison fumes took care of the crews. Jeez. A lot of mass murder going on. Anyway, the sheriff faked his death to fool us, but he was really the swamp master. Those outfits were diving suits, enabling them to submerge in the mud. Well, you still could have followed them a lot sooner. The Blue Beetle is one of many smash features appearing in every issue of Mystery Men Comics. Oh, boy. Well, what do we have next week? Flame Girl? Oh, it's an ad. Hey, who's Flame Girl? That's her. And I don't know. Anyway. Oh, we don't get any more Blue Beetle. We get the Gorilla. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, there we go. Another incredible adventure of the Blue Beetle.